Hello, welcome to the live show of Financial Clarity Engine Retirepro. My name is Prashant Ji. So let me just okay. So thanks for joining here today on this Sunday evening at 7 p.m. So today we are going to talk about what I say as a how to see your financial future before it happens. So we are going to introduce this Retire Pro, an app which is what I call as a financial clarity engine to manage your finance. And what it exactly does is to break your financial illusion and reveal the truth in a personal finance in one clear view. So this is something which is very first time done. So I will be sharing this in this. But before that, just to give a quick introduction, those who don't know me, my name is Prashant Ji. I am someone who is passionate about money, behavioral science. I write on money. And this is something which came out of my own requirement. And I have built this, but there is something which I feel everyone can gain out of this. So once again, thanks for joining this on this Sunday evening. And let's dive in now. This will take around 40 minutes or so. And so what is that we are going to cover today? So what I say is what is the biggest money illusion exists today and how to move from illusion to clarity. So that is where what we are going to cover today in this live session. And what does that mean? There is a hidden illusion in money. No one talks about this. And why most finance tools mislead you. You are using already maybe finance tools to manage, but why they mislead you, and what is the breakthrough needed, which is how do you gain real clarity on your personal finance, and what is the live demo of Retire Pro I will be showing with real life scenarios, and then how you can be one of the first 500 plus founding users. So that's a great five things we are going to cover. So let's dive in now. So why do people feel richer even when they are not? Now, this is a question which actually was asked by top three behavioral scientists, right? One of the behavioral economists and scientists asked this exact question. So why is that people feel richer even when they are not? Now, what they found in their study was something quite revealing, which is a common sense a lot of people know, but many are not very clear. And what they say is that the answer was not intelligence, it was an instinct. And what they called it as a money illusion. So, what is this money illusion? So here is something they did a study. They gave it two options and two outcomes. The first option is they asked people to choose whether they want to choose a 5% salary increase, but that comes with 10% inflation. Ideally, there is a real loss. And then they also gave another option for another set of people whether they wanted 2% salary increase and 0% inflation. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, what they found was most people choose option A. So why is this? They are choosing an option A. That is mainly because it's not because it is better, the option A, but because the numbers are bigger. When there is, you see a 5% salary, 10% inflation, you feel that it is actually much better. But the reality is it's actually a loss. So that is what they called as a money illusion. The mind sees the numbers, not the reality. See, the real value of 10% inflation is actually the value is going down, what you can buy. The nominal value, the currency, yes, 5% looks high, but what you can buy with that money is actually very less. So this is where the focus on salary increasing, not purchasing power. Feel richer when numbers rise, even if actually it doesn't. Or judge outcomes in currency units, not value. Now, these are the kind of money illusion that exists in us. And this is the exists in everywhere. People want more wages. They don't care about the inflation. People want house prices to increase, but they don't see what happens because of that. There is a stock market increase, the government statistics in how we judge economic success. Everywhere this tendency shows up. And what does that mean is that people feel progress when numbers rise, even if life gets harder. This is what is actually. So the key thing is people are feeling progress just because their numbers are rising. their salaries is increasing, their house prices are increasing, but underneath the life is getting harder, but really make out that. So what does that mean? So the question is, are you saving too much or too little for retirement? So that's the key question we need to be asking, right? So let me just check. So I want to just see that is it live for people are able to see. Okay, there are 14 people are there. Somebody said that it's not live yet. So just type in the chat box if anyone is not able to see or something. Just type yes in the chat. So the question is, are you saving too much or too little for retirement? Now, this is the simple question. So now financial ignorance comes in two forms. So the one is there is enough wealth exists, but still people lack clarity. They live in fear of less and they keep on working versus living. But then there is another thing which also happens, which is there is a scarce in wealth. There's a lack of clarity. Live beyond means, and they spend more versus saving. So there may be a lot of people. Some of you, you have more money, but actually you don't know. On the other side, there may be some people you have actually less money, but you're spending more than that. Again, that comes out because of lack of clarity. So how do we break this? So most people are told like, okay, they're made to believe if I have X amount at retirement, I'm safe. But the truth is, it's all guesstimate and it's never personalized to your life. So there is no one number which can actually tell what is that good for you. And this is where there are some invisible forces exist, which actually makes people take a shortcuts. They want some quick numbers. But unless you understand these negative forces, you will not be able to get clarity. And what are these negative forces? One is what I call as the inflation, the silent destroyer. This exists everywhere. It melts your rupee every single year. And it shrinks your spending basket without warning. And it erodes your safe coppers faster than you think. We all have experienced, right? Whatever you see now versus maybe 5 years back, everything as the price has increased. So that is what the inflation is doing. But no one knows exactly how it is working. Then the second thing is your income may stay flat, but your expense don't. So they keep rising quietly, relentlessly, driven by not just your basic common goods like food, but mostly the real lifestyle, children, health, prices. These are the things which are actually uh, helping you increasing that. So most people again have no idea what their expense will be 10, 20, 30 years from now. How long will their money last after retirement? What happens if life doesn't go according to plan? Now, these are things very less of us have ideas, right? And we are very poor at accounting lifestyle inflation. Think of the marriage, like what was used to cost for a marriage earlier. Now our kids' marriage may be like 10 times more than what is being spent on us. Or education, people are spending like 3 lakh, 5 lakhs for education per year, which was never heard of just 20 years back. Or travel expenses, everyone plans to have a travel for every year. Maybe it is going to 10 lakhs. These are things we accounted without really knowing what is that cost as we go ahead. And it's not again because you are careless, because the tools are broken. The tools what you are using, they don't give you this picture. So what is the tools? One is, I'm sure many would have used this retirement calculator. They just, you give you some number, this is your current income, and this is some inflation, and they give you, what is that? Now these are feel fancy, they look smart, but actually they don't give you. They give you just one neat number that based on assumptions that are never true for long. And then there are product driven advisors are there. If you go to any financial advisors, they will just tell you, you buy this policy, take this ULIP or increase the set. And again, advisors often push products, they don't give you the clarity. Very few show you your entire financial life in one picture. That's the thing. They are not really bothered about your financial situation. They're selling. And then, of course, some people want to do these spreadsheets, they want to do, which I have done also, but this is like endless rows and columns, no model for inflation shocks. job loss, asset crashes, lot of things you cannot account for these, no probabilities, no stress testing. So all these, what happens is that there are a lot of technical gaps. You're only accounting for what I call nominal projections, like whatever the income you are making, expense, you are trying to project. No inflation, you're not never adjusting for inflations. No real world simulation. You don't know exactly how to simulate your situations. There is no risk. You never consider the risk. So, what does that mean? The real impact is that you get a false sense of security. Maybe you feel retired too early, or you retire too late, or you panic when markets move, constant low level anxiety. This is what is happening for a lot of people, that they don't know exactly what's happening in their financial life, which is making them, because of the wrong tools, because of the wrong clarity, they feel always consistent stress. Now, we got to know also that almost every tool you use assumes the world is stable. But the reality is that world finance has never been stable here. Always there has been a change happening. There is no guarantee that things will remain the same. So, what is that we need to do now? What is the reality? How do I arrive at that reality in spite of all these things? Now, for this, let me tell you, there are some things we got to understand very clearly. Uh, the first and foremost is, when it comes to your money, uncertainty is not exception. It is guaranteed. In the future, there is nobody can predict what is going to happen. So maybe job change will happen, maybe health shock, maybe market crashes, maybe children education, aging parents, longevity, living longer than you expect, lifestyle inflation. Now, these are things which are going to come. You cannot take it for granted. These are uncertain. This is very much you got to understand. Second is, as I said, most people are driving into thick fog at full speed, what I call as with their family in the car. This is what many are doing without knowing. But what you need is, it is not that what you need is not to stop driving, but you got to keep the right headlights on. That means you need to know exactly how is that your financial is working. And so what you need is not only more income, less expense, rising asset, less debt. That's not the only thing. But firstly, what you require is clarity. Clarity is your most valuable financial asset. So what does this clarity means? How do I gain this clarity? And because before returns, before tax planning, before products, what is important to know this clarity is the cash flow. You got to understand the river of your financial life is, there is an income flowing in, there is an expense flowing out year after year. But there is an inflation, the invisible tax that quietly eats more and more of what that river every year. You got to know these things. And the peace of mind doesn't come from having a number. Again, there is no one number that can give you exactly what is that retirement. Because instead it comes from being able to see before you decide what is that exact numbers. So that's where we are introducing what I call as a Retirepro. So this is a one thing we built, what I call as a financial clarity engine. So what does this financial clarity engine means? So if you are frustration and if you are craving for something better, like if you have ever felt, okay, I'm earning okay, I'm investing, but I still don't know if I'm truly safe, you are exactly who this is built for. So what is this does is that, so here is something I want to play. Let me just play.
The biggest risk in life is believing everything will go as exactly planned.
So this
Certainty feels comforting, but often it is just an illusion. Most retirement tools assume a straight path, steady income, predictable expenses, perfect market returns, but linear planning often leads to linear disappointment when reality intervenes. Life is not a straight line. It is a dance of probabilities, inflation, job changes, health shocks, and market swings. The world is uncertain and your plans should adapt. That is why we built Retirepro, a new kind of tool designed to help you embrace uncertainty instead of fearing it. Retirepro is built for real life. Retirepro connects every moving part of your financial life, such as income, expenses, assets, liabilities, and risk, all into one living visible model that evolves with you. We use probability-based simulations, not just one future, but thousands of possible scenarios, so you can see how prepared you are for each. Like ISRO, who build rockets with margin of safety, you plan with 4 times margin of safety to survive turbulence and still reach its destination. Uncertainty does not mean fear. It means preparation awareness and the confidence to live knowing you are ready for whatever comes next. Start your 7-day free trial.
So this is what we want to show you now. So now that I covered exactly what is the challenge, what is the biggest illusion, and how you can fix. So let's dive in. How do you actually address this, right? So what is this Retirepro does? Now Retirepro, the whole idea of this is that it models your entire financial life in one place. You can actually project income, expense, asset, debt year by year. Adjust everything for real inflation again. It shows how long your money actually lasts, and it assigns a retirement readiness score. And cash flow engine, it's based on the cash flow, right? Year by year, income versus expense, pre-retirement and post-retirement, a clear visual of surplus and deficit years. So you know exactly when is that year where you have got more money, when is that you may have less money, everything you get an idea. And it is always based on the safety and science. It gives you a simple risk score. What is your risk score? And it gives you what I call as a margin of safety. Because, see, there is a concept in finance, risk of ruin. Something can go wrong significantly. Do you have enough money to actually manage that situation? So this is called a ISRO or a NASA. What they do is that they call a margin of safety, 4 times margin of safety. So in that way, your finance also has to be have enough cushion to take care of the worst case scenarios. So there are some simulations we have added to test your personal finance. And again, how savings grow into assets, how loans get paid down, how your net worth changes over time. These are all the things you should be able to get it. Inflation adjusted expense. Today's 5 lakh, basically tomorrow's 12 lakh. That's all it can buy. Shows the true cost of lifestyle. Makes inflation real, again, not theoretical. So these are the things we have added in this, which makes you that exactly the retirement gap, how many years your money lasts, what years basically runs out, all these things you can. What if changes if you retire at 55 or 60 or 45? What is going to happen? So these are the questions you actually cannot answer in a simple spreadsheet or a simple tool. You need a sophisticated tool, but it's easy to use, it's intuitive, and that is what the Retirepro is. And this is what your financial future looks like. So let's take through the Retirepro app. So I will take you Retirepro app exactly now. So let me just go through the how this app runs. So when you log into Retirepro app, you get a dashboard like this. This is the main key thing. And as you see here, so this looks very complex, but let me run through very clearly. So here is the thing, the planning, which is very important. Here we have got 5 areas: income management, asset, investment, expense, and debt and liabilities. So what we consider is that in any personal finance, you've got an income, you've got an expense, you've got certain assets, you've got a debt, and also you're doing an investment. All needs to be mapped. So let us say this is an income map, right? So you can map your income of various, you may have multiple income sources. So you can simply go to here and then you can add whichever the income. So maybe a salary income, business income, or rental income. So add these things, and every field, if you really see, it needs to have 4 factors in a finance. One is your number, but what's the frequency? What is the end year, the timeline, and also the probability of the inflation. So you can map your salary income, and then what is the salary income, what is the monthly, and then what is the starting year until when you are getting a salary. Like here I put 2051. What is the growth rate? Maybe 10% is growth rate. You can just enter here. What's the probability? This is another very important, right? Sometimes you don't want to, nothing is permanent in finance. So you keep a probability, maybe 90%, 90%. So like that, you can just change these things. So, so all these things gets added here. So personal salary. So as you see here, I have added here multiple things, the business salary, shares, different income. And when you add these things, it gives you a complete idea how your income is growing, how your income, and when the income stops, everything you get an idea. So that's the first thing. You can capture all your income sources across the by adding the probability. And as you see here, current annual, what is the projected annual, what is the growth rate, what's the confidence level, you get the different things you can match. And once you do this, I would say you go to the expense tracking, which is most important. A lot of people don't know their expenses, but we have added a lot of things for your expenses, like multiple kinds of expense. And when it comes to expense, as I said, there can be a single expense, there can be a recurring expense, there can be a yearly expense, a monthly expense, one-time expense. So everything you got to account, like maybe for a kids, for a travel, personal, home, transport, all those different categories you can add. And as you see here, different categories you can add here. And then monthly income, starting year, when the expense ends. You can even consider something like a single expense per year. And what's the inflation? That is the most important, because every expense comes with certain inflation. So especially like a food, if you are taking, if you're a monthly expense, maybe 10% is an inflation which is going now, or maybe a travel, maybe a marriage. So once you add all these expenses, as I see here, you get a complete idea. And here, as you see, there are some places where the expenses shot up. So you got to know exactly how your expenses is. And you will get an idea, total expense, average inflation, planning, average probability, because most of expenses are, what's the probability of these expense? And you get an idea of all these expenses mapped. So this is a very important. Once you get an income and expense along with the inflation and probability, you get a lot more idea. And then you can come to an asset portfolio. Asset is where we have got multiple assets, right? In the finance, we know that there is a liquid asset, there is a what I call as a illiquid asset. So we categorize these liquid and illiquid assets. Maybe real estate is an illiquid asset, whereas the shares and equity are a liquid asset. So you can add all the different kinds of asset. So when we want to do the asset, you can add the asset name here, and then you can choose what is liquid or illiquid. What is the kind of asset? Is it a equity? Is it a mutual funds? It's a PPF, fixed deposits, gold, anything you can consider these things. What is the current value? What's the maybe purchase value? When was acquired? Now, some of these are, what's the expected annual return of this asset? Because whenever you put an asset, you are expecting certain growth on that asset. You need to map those assets. And what's the confidence level? Again, there is no asset which you can guarantee 100% confidence. And also you can map the risk level, which is very important. So once you map like this, you get an idea, what is this exactly? So here I have mapped lots of assets, and you can see many things. It shows the performance in the, and you can also see how your asset is allocated, how the asset portfolio is across different years. You can see how the asset is changing. So gold is increased, equity, real estate, so multiple asset classes. Then debt, if you have certain debt, you can also add the debts. So maybe you have an outstanding EMI, outstanding debt, or you want to take a future debt, that also you can add. When is the future debt you want to plan? So what is it a home loan, or is it a vehicle loan, education loan? All these things, the debt also has to be planned, has to be accounted. The current debt, future debt, and how much you are paying every day, every month. So once you map those debt, you will get an idea how the debt is when the debt gets over. And then there is a final thing. There is always some surplus amount you have. You can plan that into investment. So how is your investment? Where do you want to put some money? So we have got various options. If you are currently planning some investments, you can match that also monthly, quarterly, annually, whether equity or whether you are adding investment in gold. So these are the things we map. And once you do these things, as you say here, again, when is the start year, end year, expected returns of investment. And so you can map these things, and you get an idea how the investments are running, and you get a complete chart. Now, the beauty is, as you add each of these things, you get a lot of this in there. in this screen itself. But the real magic happens is when you come to the dashboard. Now, this is the dashboard is where everything gets mapped. So what is your current net worth? What's your readiness, retirement score? How much year to retire? What's your corpus? And here is where we give a one unified view. How is your asset is increasing? How is your expense? Is there a margin of safety? As you see, total corpus, liquid only. How much is a liquid corpus you have? How much is illiquid? What's the total net worth? So what's your requirement? This is the kind of a requirement. And what is the margin of safety? This is, so here's an year where the margin of safety is missed. That means your expenses are much higher on this year. Whereas, what's the annual income like this? So you get a complete idea. This is what the clarity looks like, right? So you also get to see how this asset allocation. So various things you get a map. And then you can see the heat map of your expenses, some of the years where there is significant expenses you have planned. So the future expense. So once you map this asset, debt, expense, cash flows, you get that complete clarity. Now you know exactly the inflation or even the returns. You will get an idea how to do this. Now, we have got various ways to do that. And of course, there is one more feature we have added, which is what I call as a Monte Carlo simulation. So this is something where I have got a video where you can go and learn. So it will tell you how do you, whatever your base price, and if you want an annual income, how does it match? So we have got a video you can learn for everything you can learn here. So we have got video like this for asset also. For everywhere you have a video to learn. So we also have a learning center where we cover a lot of some of these things. We will be adding more of these things, how to add these things, some of these aspects of money illusion and how to overcome and how to gain more clarity. So we will be adding all this. And one of the cool thing is if you don't want to add these and you want to test, you can go to this demo view. And in the demo view, what it will do is that you can choose some of the things, options we have given, and you can see exactly, like here is someone who is a family retirement mode. So it will give you some idea we have given. So what is the current, some sample, some we have loaded, and it gives you an idea also if you really don't want to try first. But my guess is you can just enter your details and immediately you start getting idea. So as I said, if you are someone who is in the early career, here is something which shows. So different things it shows for different demo mode. So this is a Retirepro app. I wanted to show a demo, but now coming back to our why is this very important, right? So this is why is this kind of a tool is important for you. So why this really matters. Now, retiring too early, the corpus looks too big today, but in the model, your money might run out in 12 to 14 years, no second chance. That's what this tool helps you. Maybe ignoring inflation. Inflation on paper, everything looks comfortable, but reality costs double and triple, and plans quietly collapse. Again, the tool will give you exact view. No risk score, flying blind. Without a risk score or stress test, every market event feels like a personal crisis. Again, if you have enough risk score, very clearly, you can take certain risk. You can actually invest in the assets which can give you a lot more return. You don't need, again, what I say that more income or something. What is required is more clarity for most of the people. You don't need, again, to fear the retirement. What you need is to see it exactly. And once you see your future clearly, you can never unsee it. So that's the whole idea. You will never again be satisfied with the guesswork, right? So what exactly the tool helps you is to give you that picture, how you can plan your finance, how you can actually match your income versus expense, asset versus debt and investments, and how every financial number works on three dimensions. One is the actual number, another is the time, which is very important, how long this time is, and also next is the probability or the risk or the inflation. So all the three only when you consider, you get a complete picture of that. So why we built this again? So why did I build this? See, I have been into this, I have been into confusions, experiments, and only after this I built this clarity engine. So I've been running on my own spreadsheets where I had this fear of inflation and uncertainty. So I've been sold multiple products. So there was no tool which showed us the truth. So these are all the things which I had earlier. But of course, I was using some Excel sheet. But that's where with the AI coming in, I just tried out this as experiment to build this tool. And with the AI, we were able to build this very quickly. This tool, which was just with as an Excel we had. So, so we decided to build the tool, something we actually desperately needed for ourselves. And of course, now you can become part of this first 500 plus members. So you can actually, you're among the first people to experience a new category, what I call as a personal financial category, clarity. So that's where the personal finance is required. I have looked into various tools. Not many give this level of detail. They don't want to give you the clarity. Most of them are more interested in selling. We are not here to sell you anything. We are not using your data to use any for sell any products. We are not even in the advising. We don't give you any advice. It just gives you a do it your own. That means you enter your numbers, you gain your clarity. We help you to gain more clarity by giving a lot more content so that you can understand more of these numbers. But that's all the purpose of this tool is. So what you can do is what you get as an early founder, you get a 7-day free trial, Retirepro, early adopter perks and founder. So lifetime discounts. We are going to add a lot more premium plans and again, direct inputs on features and roadmap, everything you get. So all you have to do is go to this tool, retireproapp.com, and then you can immediately just log in, just a Gmail account or anything, you can log in and you can start using this. And again, just to give you, so here is the retirepro.app. So that is what will give you the, so you can just log into that. And let me just go to another this thing. So yes, so I think you can go to this Retirepro and we have done this initial setup. It will ask you few initial setup. What's your age, what's your retirement year and everything. And once you do that, you are all set to go ahead and then you can actually start using this app. And the maximum, again, the real work is how well you can bring your own numbers to this app, how well you can capture your expenses, how well you can capture your income and assets. The more you can use it to capture that, the more clarity you get. And once you get that clarity, I'm sure many people who have used, they already were sitting on lots of income, but they were struggling, but they have got a lot of peace now. And there were other people who were spending a lot. They realized that they need to figure out a lot better. So that is the thing which is going to happen. So I would love to hear the stories from people, everyone, like how you will be able to, what is the clarity you get as you use this app. And so just type in the chat box if you have any question. That's what I wanted to cover. So we did in just in 30 minutes or so. So if you have anything, just let me know. Okay, so wonderful. So if you have any questions, I will be here for some more time and I can take some questions and answer. Okay, so that's wonderful. So nice tool. Yes, wonderful. So I would love to make more people use this tool. It's a free for first 7 days, and even after that, we are kept the price very low, which is 2,999 or 4,999, depending on that. I would love to people to use it and give us a comment exactly what is that you experience or what features you require. So this is our YouTube channel. I will also share our other channels, Facebook, anywhere you can comment. So we will be happy to add more features to this. And the whole idea is, as I said, our goal is not to sell you anything. It is to give you the clarity. So you will get more financial clarity so you can make better financial decisions. So that's the whole idea. So thanks once again for joining on this Sunday evening. I would love to get some feedback as you start using it. So we will end the session now. Thank you.